Tyree and his recovery, and do you think he could possibly play week 1?
Yeah, that's what we're aiming for. We're going to hopefully get him out here today, so he's going to be able to get some reps. We're very excited for him to get back.
Turner and Gregory, are they cleared for contact?
Yep, they'll be out here. They'll be practicing also. So we're going to slowly, but we still want to be careful with both of those guys because of the severity of those things. So, but we'll continually work them in.
You will join us out another week?
We're going to start working him on the side. We just want to be sure he's 100%. He's getting his strength back. That's obviously with his position. We want him to be able to strike, so we're going to work on all that stuff. But it's, again, we're crossing our fingers.
Coach, how nice is it to have these expanded practice squads and allow more veterans and all that to be able to get guys like Josh Johnson and whoever else?
I mean, it's great. I mean, I think that, the whole NFL schedule has changed from how much we get to practice, how many, days you get to go hard, all those things. So I think the more guys you have throughout the season to be able to develop them is so huge because this is a game of health. And you always want to have people in the program that are always being able to learn just in case they have to go. I mean, even the activations is a huge thing that I'm so happy that they kept going because we can activate those practice squad guys. So those guys have to still practice and play like they're starters just in case anything happens. They have to be ready to go. So that helps, and it just gives us more time to work with more people, and it's going to make the whole league more quality.
Were you pleasantly surprised that some guys like Muti, Hinton didn't get claimed and were able to come back?
Yeah, I mean, you never know how that's going to work, and everything's a gamble. And there's always that time. I think this was the first time there were so many different people that we wanted on our team. I mean, I wish I could have kept them all, and I was nervous that a lot of those guys would get claimed because they did do a very good job, but they didn't. And so we're so lucky to have them back here, and we're very gracious for that.
They have 15 days left until the opener. Is it now fully Seattle game plan, or is it still working through some of your own stuff? How does that kind of get constructed?
Yeah, I mean, we kind of try to mix it up because we still want to go ones versus ones. We want to be sure that we're getting good on good competition, so they're playing at a high level, so we'll do that today. But we'll kind of mix some things in here and there and try to get in. It's funny, as a coach, you don't want to look at it too long because you keep thinking of more and more things that you want to do, and so you want to try to tighten it down. You don't want the game plan to get dull, so you don't want to just throw it all at the guys right away. So it's kind of a, slowly throwing things in there one by one.
Cam Fleming started to get some reps at right tackle over the past few weeks. Where does that position stand right now, especially with Billy Turner? But you don't know about his status and Calvin in there.
Yeah, I think the more reps that he can get, the better he's going to be if he has to go in. So I think that we're just going to keep on mixing all those things in. Obviously we love Billy. We want Billy to be able to go, and Cam has done a really good job. Calvin's done a good job. All those guys have. So it's great for us to have the flexibility at that position. So for whatever happens, we can be able to put anybody in there at the right time.
Thinkers like you and Mr. McVay taking a different approach to preseason, and a number of other teams too. Do you think it's time for the league to reevaluate how it does preseason preparation?
I mean, there's been so many things that have changed over from when I first got into the league. I mean, I remember first starting all the two-a-days we had, and then it went to 2-1-2, and there were special teams practices, and, everything is changing. And I know that the NFL, the number one most important thing is player safety. I know that is what they care about the most. I know that they want the quality of game to stay high. So there's this balance. It's balance with the coaches. It's balance with the league, is that we want to be able to evaluate people. We want to be able to get people ready. But at the same time, we want to keep our players healthy. So I think it's a fine line. I mean, I think that they're always evaluating it. I trust in that, and we'll keep doing on all the ways that they want us to do it, and we'll see how it changes.
Nathaniel, what did you see from KJ after watching the film?
He's very fearless. I mean, the guy goes in and, I mean, none of us really knew how it was going to be. He had a week of practice, and I think watching him go out there, he was able to play fast. Watching him understand what he was doing, he had a couple hiccups here and there, but watching him play fast and be able to take that hit, I think was huge for him. So I mean, it's a guy that has not played football in a long time. So I think that builds his confidence for us, our confidence for him. So I think all those things are great, and it was great to see him out there.
Russ's red zone numbers throughout his career have been pretty elite. When you work with him out here during camp, what allows him to be so successful in those tight quarters?
I mean, he doesn't fear those tight quarters, and that's one thing that we always talk about in that area is, we have to embrace those tight windows. And, he's got such a quick release, and he's got a strong arm, so he can definitely get it in those tight areas. And, I mean, he's had a couple throughout this camp that have been really good, and that's what you have to do down there. The players have to understand there's going to be contact quicker, there's less field to cover, and I think that's something that he's always excelled at.
A few more for the coach. Looking at the 53 certain positions, wide receiver, it seems as though special teams had a really big role. Is that an accurate read? Steve's had a pretty big voice in your decisions?
special teams is a huge part of this game. I mean, it's one phase of it. And, you know, for me, you know, I've been lucky enough to coach that position, play that position, you know, all over the place. And, you know, I know if you're going to be successful in this league, you got to be successful in special teams, to be consistent in what you do. So there's always going to be guys that we want on offense, defense, and yes, there's always guys you want on special teams too, and we're lucky that those guys can play on offense and defense also.
Traded Malik Reed yesterday. What does that maybe say about that group and the confidence and depth you guys have?
Yeah, that was a really hard one. I mean, obviously Malik is an unbelievable human being, along with a guy that has played a lot of very good football, and we're very sad to see him go. But at the same point, like you say, those guys have really come on. Those guys have done a really good job, and we had a ton of depth there, you know, with Nick, with Coop, and I mean, we've all seen Barron, the things that he's done, and it's fun as a coach because now, you know, no excuses. You get to challenge those guys, and they got to be ready to play. They got to be ready to play special teams, and at the same time, they got to be ready to go in there and play at a high level. So I'm excited to see those guys. They're young. They haven't played that much, but I think they're raring to go.
What have been your impressions of Tyrone Wheatley as a teacher and motivator for that running backs group?
I've known Tyrone. I mean, heck, I met him in 2006, I think, and you know, at that point, he was still the train. And, you know, he's a guy that I've been working with. I mean, I think we've coached about 8 years together. And I think he understands the position so well, you know, playing it. He keeps me in check because I always want to do all these different things. And he'll just look at me and nod his head, and I know, that's probably not going to work. So, but I think that's the great insight that I have from him and how he handles the players, both from a working standpoint, how he trains them. It's, you know, kind of, he always goes back to how he was trained and the ways that he knew. So I think that that's so powerful to have a guy like that in that room.
Thank you very much, Coach.
All right, you guys.